Miranda Kerr is a globally renowned supermodel, entrepreneur, and wellness advocate. Born in a small Australian town, she became the first Australian Victoria's Secret angel and has worked with the world's top fashion houses. As a founder and CEO of KORA Organics, Miranda champions holistic beauty and mindful living. A devoted mother of four, she is also a passionate advocate for women, children, health, and the environment, using her platform to support global initiatives and inspire positive change. Welcome to the Power Women series, Miranda.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to see you.
So lovely to have you here. And I guess I'll ask you first, what's the most powerful piece of advice you've ever been given? And who is the most powerful influence in your life?
I'd have to say the most powerful advice I'd ever been given is probably comes from my mother. So ever since I can remember, she would say two things to me. One was let your light shine. So like shine your heart and really come from that space of love that we all have inside of us. And she even had it engraved onto a little pillow, like, when it's stitched into a little pillow, like a little white pillow, she had let your light shine. And then another piece of advice is that she said to me, if you're going to do something, do it with your whole heart, like give it 100% or don't bother doing it at all. Now that has stayed with me. Doesn't matter if I'm changing a diaper or I'm doing a P&L or I'm developing a product. I'm like, am I going to do it? I'm going to give it 100% or I'm not going to do it. And that's it. It's pretty amazing advice.
Actually cuts through all the noise.
It does.
Because you got no time to challenge anything. You're like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it really well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to change this diaper really well.
I'm going to give it my whole heart. I'm going to do it.
I'm going to give it my whole heart. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to put the sticker on a 90-degree angle.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, my mum would just say there's no use in doing it if you're going to do it half-heartedly.
There isn't, because I guess the energy that you put out from it is just, it's not the right energy. And so you're never going to get the response that you get back is never going to be what it could be.
Yeah, it's very true.
And I guess you said that your mum is your inspiration. And I guess she's obviously older than you are. How do you feel about aging? How do you feel about the whole aging process? The visible aging process?
Yeah, I feel like it's obviously such a gift to age. And there's so much pressure in our society today to remain youthful and healthy and whatnot. And it's obviously great. I really, truly believe that health is wealth. And when you do take care of yourself, it does give you that kind of glow from within. However, I saw my grandma age really gracefully, and she had this kind of cheekiness about her. It was quite a youthful spirit, and she was always making jokes. Even on her deathbed, she was cracking a joke. And so just kind of seeing that and that aging process through her and also, through my mother. And I just think that every day is a gift. And I think focusing more on that is so important. Obviously, we all want to look our best. We want to feel our best. But I really do feel wholeheartedly that when you feel your best, the energy that you give is so much more contagious and alluring than anything that we see on the physical.
And I guess kind of growing up in the modeling world, you were with the original Victoria's Secret's clan, and you've all grown up, through the decades together. And how do you think that kind of having these comrades, as it were, that you're kind of all in it together, and that you're all kind of going through this process together?
Yeah, I mean, it was such a fun time in my life, the travel with all the Victoria's Secret angels and the experiences that we had. It was almost like we had a lot of fun and we had a lot of great experiences, and we were all like kind of actually, quite very much there for each other. Like, I'm still very good friends with Lily Aldridge, one of the Victoria's Secret angels, and Alessandra and I like text, every now and then. Same with Adriana, and I just feel like, and Giselle's always been super kind and lovely to me. And then obviously now we're all going through that process and understanding that aging is inevitable and it's part of life. And I've always said myself that I want to be grandma with great skin. Like, that's my aim. So that's what I'm going for.
Do you know what? That is a great aim.
Yeah.
That's actually all you want to be. That's actually genuinely, like, people want to have this done, they want to have that done. But obviously, if you can enter your grandma era and
Yeah.
have incredible skin, I mean, that's basically what it's all about. Are
Yeah.
there any kind of beauty secrets that you picked up from your Victoria's Secret days that you still swear by today?
Dry body brushing. I think it's really such a simple thing, but it's something that I have done for many years. It obviously gets the circulation going, and rubbing the Noni Glow body oil like all over. I remember when I first came out with it, giving it to the girls backstage and putting it all over our skin, having that beautiful glow from head to toe. It really is so nourishing and it smells so good, the body oil. It's something that people actually really love and get addicted to.
You
And
can't beat a body oil,
yeah,
honestly. It's
yeah,
like, people forget about their body. You
that's
think, like,
right.
oh, I'm only going to focus on my face and my neck because, like, it's covered in clothes, especially like in Britain in the
Yeah,
winter. You're never going to see anything.
yeah,
So I just think there should be more focus on actually maintaining your body, so it's not such a shock when the spring comes and you have to get your legs out that have been covered in
exactly.
leggings all year.
I remember my skin used to be so dry, like on my legs, and I'm not sure if it was from like so much travel or what it was, but ever since I've really incorporated the dry body brushing daily and the Noni Glow body oil all over my skin, it has been a game changer for me. It's got the essential fatty acids in there. It really nourishes your skin, and it's really great for preventing and helping with stretch marks as well. So it maintains that elasticity in your skin.
You look absolutely incredible, and I think lots of people would want to know what is your daily routine. Obviously, you've got your skincare line. You like using the Lyma laser. Like, how have you incorporated your skincare and the Lyma Pro into your daily routine?
Well, I wake up every morning between 5 and 5:30 a.m. I'm quite an early
Do you
bird.
naturally wake up, or is it an alarm?
Oh, I naturally wake up. Yeah. So
Wow.
it's been years of like practice because I was naturally a night owl before I met my husband. It'll be 12 years this year we've been together, and
Wow.
yeah, and I literally like would love like, at the time when I met him, I only had Flynn, and I would like get Flynn to bed, and then I would potter around the house, and that was my quiet time. Now that I've met him, I remember one of the first like Friday nights we spent together, and he's like, "Okay, let's go to bed." I'm like, "It's like 8:30," and he's like, "Yeah, let's go to bed." And I was like, "Okay, maybe we're gonna get some action," but nope,
Yeah.
we're going to sleep. And I was like,
Just
"Oh wow, Friday night going to sleep at 8:30."
that is such a
Now,
literal man. Let's go to bed.
yeah.
Okay, well, we will just literally go to sleep.
And so I was like, okay. And then it took me a little bit to get used to it, but now I absolutely love it. Like going to bed early, especially with having 4 kids. Like, so anyway, going back to my routine, I get them to bed early, and then I have time for myself. And I have the routine at night where I like put relaxing music on throughout the whole house at like 5 p.m. and I dim the light so that I naturally can help my kids, wind down. I put the baby down because of daylight savings. I've been putting the baby down at 5:30 p.m. because it's getting dark already here.
Yeah.
And then I get the boys to bed. And actually, we actually all, like the kids and I, eat at 4:30 p.m., which is a little bit out. It's very early. And then I get into bed and I put on, I have two mats. I have a cell optimizing mat, and then I put that on the bed. And then I have a Weber laser device mat that I put all over my whole body. And so I do this routine for like 15 minutes with the Lyma laser. You know, I know it's a little bit crazy, but lately, my other one's in my bedroom, but I've been doing two at the same time for time
Do you know
management.
what? I do that. Do you know what I do? But Miranda, twice a day, I do
Same.
it before I go to bed and in the morning.
So do
So
I.
this is what I do. I do two, two,
Yes.
two,
Yeah.
two, and then under the eye,
Yeah.
and then on the side, but I go right up
Yeah.
on the side. And then this is my forehead. I do two. And then when I'm here, I re-put the other one on my neck. So I've got one in my 11s. And so and then I do the top of my nose and do this one here. That is my routine. It takes me half an hour and it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I put on the Milky Mushroom Mask, which I created this one from KORA Organics, the Milky Mushroom Mask, because I keep it next to my bed and it really plumps the skin. And I feel like the combination of that mask and your laser is awesome, making you wake
And
up.
so you can leave the mask on.
It's an overnight, sleeping
Wow.
mask. Yeah. And it dries as a translucent veil, locks everything in, all your products that you put on prior to it. And then I go to bed. I try to go to bed by 9, and then I'm up around 5:30. And I like to wake up before the sun rises and watch the sunrise. And I open the windows and let the sun naturally kind of help balance my circadian rhythm. And that's when I'll have my lemon water and then my celery juice, and then I'll have my coffee. I've been in and out of coffee throughout my pregnancies, but I'm back on coffee at the moment and I love it.
Can't beat coffee.
Each of my kids, except for the baby, each of my kids have been taught Vedic meditation, and they each have their own mantra. So it's something I've been practicing since I was 17, and it's really a key to kind of my connection and devotion to it just really helps.
What would they say?
So you get your own mantra and you're not allowed to tell anyone, except I'm allowed to know as their mother what their mantra is. So you do a whole ceremony with a Vedic meditation teacher. And then you have your own mantra that's just for you. And then you close your eyes and you recite the mantra. And as an adult, you do it for 20 minutes. But for my children, the 6-year-old does it for 6 minutes, my 7-year-old for 7 minutes. And technically, my 15-year-old only needs to do it for 15 minutes. But lately, this new year, he said, Mum, I want to meditate with you every morning at 6 a.m. and do it for 20 minutes. And I was like, great.
You have got perfect children, Miranda, I have to say.
I wouldn't say perfect. But I must say,
you have got perfect children.
It's really been helpful. And on the days that he does it, because there have been a couple of days, like one day he had late start, and he was like, okay, I don't want to do it at 6 a.m. And I said, okay, well, let's see how you feel when you wake up. And he didn't do it that day. And he's like, I really noticed a difference. Like I felt much calmer the days I did it. So it's a really good tool to have. And it's been a really transformational thing for me to have in my life, to have that daily meditation. Oh, and so I do the meditation. So I do that with him. And then, I'll do before I go see him at 6 a.m., I've been doing some, it's called Vedic rounding. So I'll do my rounding before I go meditate with him, which is basically like yogic stretches, poses that I'll do. And then I'll go do meditation with him. And then I'll come back and do my getting ready routine, which is dry body brushing on the power plate. And then once I've dry body brushed, I use your laser again, do my skincare routine, get ready for the day, And my husband drops the kids to school 3 days a week, and I do 2 days a week because I'm with the baby as well. So, and I'm
Yeah.
working from home. So it's just that balance. But I also go to like every opportunity there is for the kids at school. I'm like the mother that's there because
Oh,
unfortunately
wow.
my mother wasn't able to be. So it made me really want to
That's
make
your
sure.
thing.
Yeah, it's like my thing that I'm like, because I wanted my mother there, obviously, but she didn't have the choice. She didn't have the luxury to be able to come and be there at the class thing. So I like have that in me where I just want to like make sure I'm like there. So I'm going today to read a book to my kindergartner's class, Miles's class.
So I guess you and your husband are like, you are a power couple.
Mhm.
And balancing two high powered careers can be challenging to say the least. How do you navigate this?
Well, the great thing about my husband and I is we have very good communication. And so, we talk a lot, and we know each other's love language, and we make sure that we're, meeting that, like meeting those needs from each other that we both require. And I just feel like we're on the same page when it comes to our values. And that really obviously helps. And for us, like family comes first. Um, and I think that makes everything easier to navigate, especially when work gets really busy. We really value that time together as a couple as well, like making sure that we go on date nights together. Yesterday we went on a date like day, which was going to see The Notebook. It was
Oh,
it was fun watching The Notebook like on stage because it was like a
yeah.
musical, and that was sweet. So we really
Oh,
do make an effort to, and then, a few nights before that, we went on a date night and we tell the kids and we explain to them how important it is. Because my kids really, like, I put them to bed, 9 times out of 10, except for if I have date night. And I explain to my children, like, Mummy's, Daddy's taking Mummy on a date, so I won't be able to
oh.
put you to bed tonight. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, but it's important, Mummy and Daddy have that time together. And one day you'll realize that when you have a partner.
My daughter just rings me incessantly.
Does she?
I could be anywhere. Like, brr, brr, brr. And I guess like talking of your kids, social media is like, they're not all very young. And in Australia, they had banned social media for teenagers. And the British government was kind of thinking of going along the same things. But like, how do you think that kids are affected by social media and like the rise of AI in kids' social media feeds
Yeah.
predominantly?
I mean, it's crazy because we didn't grow up with this. Um, and as far as I'm concerned, like with Flynn, who's the only one that obviously has a device, because he just turned 15, I have parental controls on his phone. So, he has restrictions of when he can use it and when he can't. I also have guidelines of like his phone has to be outside of his bedroom at 9:30 p.m. And I think that's really helpful, having those guidelines. I also don't allow him to have social media. But he does have Snapchat because that's the way they all communicate.
They
And I
all
see,
communicate on Snapchat, don't they?
yeah, and I see that as a great way and a great tool for kids to connect with their friends. And there has been independent studies done on specifically different social media and how it impacts people. And I think this study was done in the Netherlands. I don't remember the specifics, but what the general view was that social media obviously can make people feel bad about themselves, talking about Instagram and Facebook and all that, and obviously TikTok. However, what they found is Snapchat really helped people feel connected to their loved ones, to their friends, because there was no pressure for likes. There was no pressure for looking perfect. It was more of
It's
a
a sharing
connection,
platform. Yeah,
sharing
it's a sharing.
tool,
Yeah.
like to like connect with those that you love. So we do let Flynn use Snapchat, and and obviously you just have to do the best you can, because we're navigating a situation that we really didn't grow up with ourselves. And at the same time, we want him to be able to have those interactions with his friends, but in a way that is not going to influence him in a negative way. And if I think about when I was growing up, there were magazines that we would look at, and that's also setting unrealistic expectations for you when you're seeing these beautiful retouched images in magazines, which
Yeah.
obviously, I was a part of and still am a part of that industry. And I guess it's a double-edged sword, because there's a part of that that's you're expressing yourself creatively. From my perspective as a model, I was becoming different characters and expressing myself creatively, and using fashion and lighting and clothing to really get into certain characters, which was fun. I really
It's
enjoyed
like
that
you're putting on
experience.
a performance. It's like a
Yeah,
show.
it's like a piece of art, and when you
Yeah.
work with such incredible photographers like Stephen Meisel, he really is like a true artist. Or different fashion houses, like when I worked with Nicolas Guesquier, and he just really embraced every stage that I was going through, like before I was pregnant, while I was pregnant, walking the runway, after I just gave birth. Like, it was really, that I think was like a positive thing to show women in different stages in their life. And I think that with social media, it can be a double-edged sword, because it gives the freedom for people to express themselves and go against the norms, which you are seeing quite a lot. And at the same time, you're seeing also some unrealistic expectations, but at the same time, people are aware that they're unrealistic expectations. So it's one of those things that, I guess in a way, yeah.
I guess kind of like there's the other question of like AI digital modeling, and like how do you think that will affect the people's modeling careers? Or you see people sometimes and you think, is it real, is it not? There's a
Yeah,
whole,
yeah.
is it
I think
better, is it not?
I think that what I've seen is that AI has been used as a supportive tool in modeling, rather than a replacement for actual models. Like, I've seen it being used for like casting or understanding audiences and editing. It can also, can make the process more like data informed. But at the end of the day, I feel like human connection and human energy is something that I haven't really seen AI being able to fully
No, it
capture
can't.
yet. So
No.
I think it can be part of the process, but I feel like ultimately right now, we still as humans desire that human connection.
Think AI just can't beat a human in terms of emotional connectivity,
Yeah.
and I think that's the edge.
Yeah.
And I guess if you could change one thing about the beauty or the wellness industry for the power of women's health and representation, what would it be?
Probably education. I feel like if we were educated at school truly about health being wealth, we would feel more empowered as we go through life. And we understood that the simplicity of eating healthy and having healthier options available instead of a lot of processed food and food that just is like dead energy, then
And
we would
actually,
feel better, and then we would have more energy, and then our brains would function more optimally as well.
and you've spoken about your health issues and your struggles with autoimmune issues and gut health. How do you think it shaped your approach to wellness, and what do you do every day to give you your health power, as it
Yeah.
were?
So I was diagnosed with proctitis when I was pregnant with my almost 8-year-old, and I considered myself very healthy even prior to that. But I was really shocked, and I think I was working so hard, and actually that's what I do get from my mother, like a very strong work ethic, and my father, they're very strong work ethic, and I come from very humble beginnings in a rural town in Australia. And so I was traveling, for many years, 2 different countries a week, and up until, I had Flynn, I only really took off, only ever really had a holiday, which was 10 days over Christmas break.
Wow.
So I was really just working myself, and my nervous system needed that kind of
Just shut down.
Reset. It needed to really focus more on, instead of just like running on adrenaline, I needed to really just step back and take a step back and really devote myself more to my practice, making sure that I was getting back into my meditation and those tools that I'd learned in my life.
And do you think there's a difference between people in Australia and people like in the UK or America in terms of how they prioritize their wellness?
I feel like what I like about the UK, and obviously, I was with Orlando for many years, is I liked the kind of ritual of having a cup of tea. Let's just sit down and have a cup of tea and we'll talk about it. And that's just like a moment of pause. And to me, that's a wellness ritual. I love tea. I designed a line of teacups for Royal Albert.
Really?
Yeah, it's the Miranda Kerr. It's very fun. And I used to love, my grandma had the Royal Albert collection, and it was like her prized possession. So I would have tea with her, and I loved kind of designing the tea collection for Royal Albert because it made me, understand how much she would appreciate this and love this. So I've designed 2 collections. One is like a friendship collection, is like peonies and butterflies, and then the other one is an Australiana collection, which is really quite beautiful with Australian flora and fauna and birds. And so that one just got released, which I'm very excited about. So I love like the tea collection, the tea tradition that really I feel is part of the UK, and I think in Australia we're very much about being close to nature and kind of a little bit of laid back attitude. And then in America, I really love the technological advancements that are coming out of America. Like
it's just incredible. The science that's coming out now it's never been as accessible and as powerful as it is now. I mean, I know kind of even with Lyma and our laser, it's kind of re-engineering existing technologies and repurposing them for people to use at home. Like I think that there's this whole rise of the self-directed health and beauty consumer that doesn't want to have to go to maybe hasn't got time to go to a clinic or wants to just recover at home,
it's such a luxury to be at home,
to have that power of being able to rebuild your skin without damaging anything. I think the whole kind of people eat organic food, they breathe in healthy air, you're doing all of these amazing wellness things to improve your body. And then, there are so many damaging techniques out there and damaging technologies out there that you don't have to use. And actually, it's quite interesting because we did a clinical last year with the Lyma laser, and it showed that the collagen that's produced when you damage your skin in order to stimulate collagen production is actually just generating scar tissue. So actually, technologies like the Lyma laser are so kind of revolutionary because for the first time, you're able to stimulate collagen production without damaging a single cell and actually produce the same blend of collagen fibers that you did when you were just a lot younger. So I think that science has just moved on so incredibly. And what do you think? Obviously, you've got your skincare line, you've got your own line. But what do you think about some of the claims that are being made in our industry currently, and how important is it to empower people to understand the science?
I think it's so important to understand the science and to actually read the label of what you're using, whether or not that's for your skin, your hair. Obviously, your skin is the largest organ on your body. So it's important to understand what you're putting on your body. And there are a lot of filler ingredients in products so that the company can make a profit. And that's what I was like trying to go against. I wanted to create certified organic skincare so people could get the abundance of antioxidants. The whole reason why people eat certified organic in the beginning is to avoid pesticides, for one, and to get an abundance more antioxidants, right? So you get up to 60% more antioxidants when you're eating or using a certified organic ingredient. And that's because it's not grown on depleted soil, it's grown on nutrient rich soil. And so for me, that was super important. And I wanted to make sure that in addition to that, you weren't putting unnecessary chemicals in the actual formulation. Because, for me, it was such a personal story. My mom was diagnosed with tumors in her spleen. So as a family, we had to look at everything that we were putting on our
Yeah,
skin, every household product we were using, everything we were ingesting. And there was this little book called The Chemical Maze, and it really explained in layman's terms all the different numbers that you might see on the back of packaging, what it means, or what is sodium lauryl sulfate. It's a foaming agent, and then it can be and then it told you it was like a sad face, or like if it was a carcinogen, or if it was what its purpose was. Was it a humectant? Was it a foaming agent? And so we used that book as a little Bible to really research. And that's when we realized there really wasn't anything out there that was truly certified organic and results driven. And so I spoke to a friend of mine and said, I really want to create this for my family. And we created it for us. We got such incredible results that I was like, I want to share this with the world.
I guess so many stories start out like that.
Yeah, I felt like people deserved so much better than what they were being offered. And I'd been in the industry, and I'd seen and tried so many different products on my skin, and I understood, the process of like helping your skin be glowing and radiant. So working together with some of the best chemists in the natural space was so, and is still so rewarding for me, to really see the science behind it. And that's why we do all these studies at KORA to prove the efficacy, because there's this misconception that maybe a certified organic ingredient is not as powerful, but actually it's quite the contrary. It can be, even more powerful. So for instance, with our plant stem cell alternative to retinol products, what we've seen is that I think it's I can't remember the percentage, but it's like a super high percentage. I think it was like 85% said they got better results using my plant stem cell retinol alternative as opposed to traditional retinol, which, for me, I found really irritating for my skin. So to be able to get
I can't
those
use
results.
retinol. It's way too. It just makes.
Exactly.
I need to take steroids afterwards.
Yeah.
It's
So
too
this is
bad.
like this is a plant stem cell retinol alternative. So you can use it daily. It helps with cellular turnover. Such a big difference in fine lines and wrinkles. And you see the before and after photos, and having these studies to show the efficacy is so important to me. Same with our, turmeric niacinamide alternative drops. It's like people are noticing their pores are minimized and they've got an improvement in skin texture. But I want to have all of those studies there to prove the efficacy and the photos of before and after so people can see for themselves. And then I really encourage people to send me before and after photos when they use the products, because I don't want to
Not
do something for
before
my
and after
skin.
pictures are amazing.
They're the best.
I remember when I first started using the laser technology, I used it on my knees because
Oh, wow. Oh,
my
that's
knees were
great.
the
Like above
worst.
the knee.
My knees were just the worst thing on my body. Like I'd inherited them from my mum. They were horrific. And
Thanks,
so I
Mum.
thought, well, I know, thanks, Mum. So I thought if they worked on my knees, then it'll work on anything. And I think because you can't feel the laser working, like I'd taken this before shot, and then I'd used the laser I'd used it for 12 weeks on my knees. I was thinking, is it really working? Isn't it really working? And then when I looked at the before, when I looked at the after, I was like, oh my God, like, and you don't, what I'm trying to say is you often associate things that hurt you with better results, and you don't
That's right.
notice things that are kind to you.
That's
And
right.
I guess you're entering your fourth decade. You look
Mm.
amazing, but you are.
Thanks.
How do you feel about how your body and your face have changed over the years?
Um, well, obviously, I've had 4 children, and I remember the first time I was pregnant with Flynn. I remember kind of feeling like, and I was at the height of my career, everything was like going extremely well. I was doing, I was working with Stephen Meisel for Italian Vogue and American Vogue, and I was like really, and I was obviously a Victoria's Secret angel, and I was not scared. I was like, I'm going to embrace this because this is such a blessing and such a gift to be able to have the privilege to carry a child. And if my body doesn't go back, then I'm just going to really focus on other things that I'm passionate about because
Yeah.
this is not what defines me. And so I've kind of always had that mentality of like, and I think that goes back to what my mother said of like letting your light shine and having that confidence from within. It's not really about the exterior, even though a lot of my work is about the exterior. It's just so important to keep that kind of grounded, humble, very appreciative, grateful attitude for life and the gift it is, and not be worried about like what the external is. Obviously, my grandma would be like, it is important to take care of yourself, like your body is your temple kind of thing, and do your best to, respect yourself and look your best. And so my body has obviously changed. And obviously, after having my last baby, I was like, okay, I'm going to get back into it and I'm going to get my body back. But honestly, it's been almost 2 years and I haven't gotten back into it yet. And I'm like, okay, well, my jeans are fitting a bit tighter and it's
Yeah,
not
but so
like I don't
what?
look the
Who
same. I don't
cares?
look the same as I used
Who
to. But
cares?
I'm like, you know
Honestly.
what? It doesn't matter. It
You've
doesn't
had four
matter.
children, Miranda.
Yeah.
You've not had
Yeah.
one. You've had four.
Exactly.
And I
So,
guess on the final note, going back to Victoria's Secret, obviously, you know, did you feel empowered taking part in the Victoria's Secret show? Obviously, you started out as the Victoria's Secret show in one vein, and then they changed it into kind of a more inclusive vein, and then it's
yeah.
kind of shifted a bit towards what it originally stood for. And
Yeah.
how do you? What stage in that did you feel most empowered, or did you
Um,
not feel empowered?
I remember being like, as crazy it is as it is, I think models are some of the most insecure people that you'll ever meet. And I think that's because we're constantly being compared to like, oh, well, you don't have that, and she has that, and you have that. And so I felt like when I met the Victoria's Secret angels, I remember when I first saw Adriana and Giselle and Carolina, and I was just like, wow, like they're so beautiful. I was like, what am I doing here? I didn't feel like I necessarily belonged there with them. Like I thought I saw myself in a bit of a different category. Like, I don't know. But now looking back, I was like, oh, look at you. You were great. but at the time, I kind of felt a little more insecure. And I was like, what am I doing here? And like, wonder why they have
So,
me
do you think
here.
the whole concept of having all these beautiful women in one place actually served the opposite, and it was disempowering in a way because it fueled on
Um, I
insecurity?
wouldn't, I wouldn't, I wouldn't say that because everyone was like, just kind of like everyone, if you looked at it, everyone had something beautiful and unique about them. And I just felt like I was going to fully embrace that opportunity. And I remember thinking, before I went out on the stage, just enjoy this moment, just listen to the music and just like be you, let your little light shine, like my mom would say. And that was it. And I just kind of had fun with it. I didn't take it too seriously. I was like, this is a bit of fun. I'm going to give it my best. Obviously, I was working out a lot. I had, a lot more discipline when it came to exercise than what I do now. But, we have to be kind with ourselves, and we have to be gentle with ourselves first and foremost. So
we do.
Yeah.
We do. Well, thank you so, so much, Miranda. Honestly, thank you for talking so candidly. I definitely want your serene life.
Oh.
One day.
Meditation for me has been such a game changer. So just kind of connecting to that inner peace that we all have inside of ourselves, and understanding the interconnectedness of everyone.
And then there's the Lyma laser for all those other times.
Thank you.
Exactly. Well, thank you so, so much. And wishing you a lovely day.
Yeah, you too.